Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We're most of the way through, and it's time to go after this week's licensed comics. You know, largely. There's one that's not a licensed property, but yeah. Anyway, kicking things off, we've got Alien #3. Where we left off, things were not going well on the Weyland-Yutani excavation site on LV 695. The troops that came along with the excavation crew, well, they ran into some xenomorphs, and the daughter of our resident scientist, well, she freed a facehugger. She stole a frozen sample from her mother's lab, which turned out to be a facehugger. And, well, facehugger did what facehuggers do, and yeah. Things are not going well, however. So the keg has, there's been some explosions, and some injured troops. Dr. Zahn, as well as her partner Dayton and daughter Zasha, are loose on the base. Dayton has managed to get free and manages to contact Bataya and Zasha. Meanwhile, well, other samples are now loose, including yet another facehugger. Dayton's plan is to take control of the evac ship and get off the planet. Dog catchers go to find the chest burster, though it's grown and manages to take down more of the dog catchers. As Dayton tries to lift off, the ship ends up crashing into the ice, leaving pretty much everyone stranded on the planet. And Dayton discovers there's a whole hive underneath him, and the hive is awake. And that is where the issue ends. I've been loving this story, I really have. Declan Shelby is definitely crafting quite an interesting alien tale. I get the feeling that Dr. Zahn is potentially, as it's clear she's pregnant, and there are points where it appears to be an important plot point, where it does seem to be important to the plot. I get the feeling that the child she's carrying isn't what one might expect. Basically, it would not surprise me to discover she's found a way to keep it, to long-term carry an alien embryo, but we'll see. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Predator #4. Where we left off, Theta had been saved at her duel with the Oucha, but she lost an arm. The ship was able to make a prosthetic for her. However, three of the people she rescued have decided to take over the ship and head back to Earth rather than go back to a company facility. Kiyoshi and Isla group up to fully take control of the ship, while Kiyoshi is left to watch the prisoner. Aja. Vader wants to get back up and around, make sure that see what information the black box she managed to grab contained. However, it appears to be transmitting. She also tells Paolo that when she got her arm cut off, she did beg the Yaoja to kill her. But Vader tries to ask Sandy if anything's been transmitted from the for a record of anything transmitted from the black box, but in the middle of responding, Sandy cuts out, as does primary power. As Kiyoshi and Isla have basically rerouted everything to the command center. Alan and Omar show up. Alan is left to keep an eye on Theta, while Omar and Paolo head to the armory because it seems that something's up. Lucas is trying to convince Aja to see things his way, when he is killed by Yaocha, who has managed to make it aboard the ship. Alan and Omar first check the processor room to discover what's happened. While Isla and Kiyoshi look into basically finish everything up with the command center and discover that Lucas is dead and there's a Yaocha loose on the ship. Lucas opts to lock down the command center, basically let the Yaocha kill everyone else. Meanwhile, Theta and Alan head to the armory, with Theta opting to put on her armor, explaining that when Alan says, notice that she's still recovering, the armor might weigh her down a bit. She does point out that it has a powered exoskeleton, making it a little easier so it can actually operate. It's not going to put too much strain on her. We also get a little bit about Alan's past. He was an enforcer for I think it was a crime firm based out of Leeds. He used to be called Alan the Axe. If you saw him coming, you know you done messed up real bad. And so Alan grabs an axe, armed himself with an axe, while Theta armors up. Paolo and Omar are making their way to the ship and note that comms are down. And while they haven't discovered the presence of the Yaocha, Yaocha has discovered them. And that is where the issue ends. I'm really digging this story. First and foremost, I really like the fact that Marvel is returning to some of the concepts from Predators. Predators isn't my favorite Predator movie, but it's honestly still it's a good movie. It really is. I mean, there's only one bad Predator movie, and we won't talk about that one unless we have to. But the idea of the Yaocha kidnapping people largely from Earth and depositing them on hunting preserves is interesting. I especially like the idea of them having kept people in cryostasis for years, and then you get a confused group that likely, where they all appear to be close to the same age, but one's from maybe decades, but there's decades or more between when they were taken. So, like I said, it's an interesting concept that the craft of this story has got me eagerly coming back for more. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red, number 3. So, of course, this is an anthology series. It does have a running story throughout, but hard shut down by Jason Aaron and Leonard Kirk, where we left off there, while Vader's captor had been trying to basically remove Vader's cybernetics in an effort to sell them. Well, Vader showed he's more than just his armor and cybernetics, has been using the Force to take control of the base and get back at his captors, having left more than a few at this point already dead. The leader of the group, Sin, decides, though, that they're going to have to just blow up their facility, blow up their base, and just rip the cybernetics off of Vader's corpse. They get to their ship, an initial attack is made. When a secondary attack is about to be made, however, Vader is able to take control of the ship, causing it to crash. The crash leaves all but Sin and one of his people dead, and has released Vader from his restraints. As Vader approaches him, Sin admits that his father was right. Vader is magnificent. Our next story, Annihilation. An Imperial battle group has followed a rebel transport as well as this fighter escort consisting of, looks like, 2 A-wings and 2 X-wings to a rebel base. Vader is in pursuit, though the leader of the battle group has strict orders: follow Vader's lead. Vader doesn't want them to bombard the planet, so Vader's chasing down the transport and the fighters in his custom TIE fighter. Takes out the fighters easily enough, though one of them does manage to get after one scores a hit on his TIE fighter, however, he starts force choking the pilots as they attempt to shoot him down. He manages the landing at the rebel base, and the artillery is no match for Vader, and he brings down the remains of the transport ship on the base. And when asked for a status report, from the battle group leader, Vader simply states, "It is done." That is where the story ends. Which brings us to our final story for the issue, Diplomatic Impunity. While in orbit of a planet, Vader is heading down a shuttle with a Lieutenant Sulaco having been assigned to pilot the shuttle. Lieutenant Sulaco is taking Vader on a diplomatic mission. The story is narrated by Lieutenant Sulaco, explaining everything. She thought, hey, maybe Vader would take a shine to her, and that would be good for advancement and prestige. And so they arrive on the third moon of a planet. It turns out to be the planet that, not the moon, that Lieutenant Sulaco is from. They look over a settlement near where they land, but our old sniper has them in their sights, fires on Vader, and, well, Vader deflects the second blaster bolt back at the sniper, taking him out. The settlement has become a rebel base, and, well, yeah, Vader does what Vader does. Tactics, strategy, artillery doesn't mean a thing against him. But there's a reason for this. There's been a rebel spy on his ship. Doesn't know how long she's been undercover or how much damage she has done, but it stops now. That spy is Lieutenant Sulaco. She explains that she's going from being a spy to a double agent. She'd feed the Alliance whatever information Vader wanted her to, in exchange for saving her family's lives, even if it meant the lives of other rebel soldiers. Vader doesn't want the Alliance wiped out. Pruned was the word he used. A rebellion is good for Imperial morale. A wartime empire needs an enemy, one he can control. But Lieutenant Sulaco is told to go into her home and say what she needs to say, because she will never be returning. But they have work to do, and that is where the issue ends. I'm loving this miniseries. Stories, the hard shutdown story is great, and the additional stories each issue have also been equally good. If another similar miniseries is done, I have to admit I wouldn't be opposed to one focusing on Darth Maul. But yeah, fingers crossed, right? Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Dr. Aphra number 33. Where we left off, Dr. Aphra had... Dr. Aphra kidnapped Luke Skywalker because, well, she needed the help of a Jedi, and, well, there's really only two she knows, at least that she knows is still alive at this point, and, well, one of them has made it clear he really doesn't like her, Vader, and the other is Luke Skywalker, who's, a decent person. But they made it to what appeared to what they thought was a Jedi temple, and fell to the floor, and ended up face to face with Jedi Master Shaak Ti and Jedi Knight Aayla Secura. So the issue opens many years ago at the Sasson Temple. Aayla Secura is doing lightsaber sparring with some Padawans. Shaak Ti is meditating beneath Kaithu's bell. Aayla Secura asks if Shaak Ti is sure that the temple can hold, presumably, the bell. But Master T explains that the temple on Sasson resonates with the Force. Every wall, every floor panel, that's what it was built to do, but they don't have the luxury of doubt, the kind of overwhelming power that Shaak Ti sensed must be contained. And if they cannot secure it, then they must do everything they can to destroy it. But Luke introduces himself to Aayla Secura and Shaak Ti, though Aphra points out it's not really them, it's just holograms. They make their way through the temple, but it turns out that the temple being made of crystal is it projects things. You get moments of Aphra insulting Luke, or Luke insulting Aphra. Though it's not actually them, it's an illusion. But there's something embedded in the crystal, watching. There's a spiked pit trap at one point. But Aphra explains she knows that something's going on with the Force, and it's affecting not just Luke but also Vader, or Vader can't control the Force. And they find Kythu's bell, noting that it's huge, and well, Aphra's wondering how they're going to get it out of there. But she also notices there's something inside. So Luke gives her a boost, she gets it out. And Luke notes that the crystal's not resonating anywhere. There's an explosion, and the Star Weird pops out. And Aphra realizes that it's not a Jedi temple. It's a Jedi security system. It's a Jedi prison, and the Kythu's bell wasn't a ritual artifact, it was a security system. And that is where the issue ends. Okay. I know that there have been ads popping up for the next issue already, talking about reintroducing the Star Weird. I don't know what the Star Weird is, and I've been meaning to look it up, but, well, I forget, because I do that sometimes, I forget stuff. Anyways, otherwise though, like I said, I'm enjoying the story, good addition. As much as I would have loved it that somehow Aayla Secura and Shaak Ti were actually there and Luke got to meet them, it was, kind of one of those, yeah, that'd be cool and all, but it ain't gonna be the case, because, well, Aayla Secura is definitively dead. Ain't no way she survived Order 66. Shaak Ti, well, there has never been a canonical, this is how Shaak Ti died. So, yeah. At least not in Disney canon. Moving on, though, to our last movie, we've got Green Arrow number 3. Where we left off, Leanne and Ollie were hurtling through the universe, and it seemed that Amanda Waller was involved. So, Black Canary and Roy Harper, Arsenal, went to talk to Waller, breaking into Belle Reve. And Ollie and Leanne went traveling once again, this time ending up in the 31st century. And Connor's there. As are, of course, the Legion of Superheroes. And, well, Ollie had actually been there recently during the Justice League vs. Legion of Superheroes miniseries. But Ollie and Connor have a nice reunion. Apparently, Connor's been there for a few months. In the present, Peacemaker is dealing with Peacemaker and there was a name given for the female peacemaker. I just can't remember what it was, but they're dealing with Arsenal and Black Canary, who are trying to free Count Vertigo because he has some information. But Peacemaker makes him a deal. Roy and Ollie get what taking a guard's helmet which has a bullseye on it, and they'll be thrown up in the air. And if whoever gets Peacemaker will shoot at it while Roy fires an arrow. Roy hits the bullseye, or Roy hits it. They get what they want. Roy hits. Peacemaker is going to be explaining the whole thing to Waller, but Count Vertigo explains that Waller's up something bigger than the Green Arrow family. She's been collecting. But Vertigo doesn't know where she is. Last he heard was her knowing that Oliver Queen didn't make it back with the rest of the Justice League, but that he was alive. She just didn't know where or when he was alive. Later, Leon explains that she remembers the explosion from Brightest Day, woke up in some lab. Amanda Waller was there, arguing with someone. She was worried they were playing with fire, but the person said that the Arrow family could never be together. That was the deal. Then she teleported. It was like that for years. Teleported around different worlds and time periods. Every time she got close to her dad, she'd get teleported away. Tried so many times, but eventually gave up. Landed in Alley Town, but in the past, and decided to stay there. Built a life for herself. Forgot her old self. Then Roy found her, and she was teleported again. That's why they need to find Waller. Apparently, they're being scanned by Brainiac. Because they all have, they're all implanted with a device in their necks that emits a kind of displacement energy. Seems like a brain bomb. Amanda Waller special. Removing it would activate another teleportation, and they couldn't control where it sent them. Unless he gets more samples, he won't be able to identify exactly what triggers it. Though it fascinates him. But there was a recording found near Connor when he was brought to the Legion, and all he knows what it is, and he thinks he knows who Waller was talking to when Leanne was saved. She was talking to him, explaining it's not because of something he did, because of something he's going to do. It's why he destroyed one of those on an alien world. It comes with a warning. Basically saying that apparently the Green Arrow family is responsible for the great disaster. So Ollie made a deal with someone who could help them go back in time and take some preventative measures. Explaining none of the Arrow family ever be together. Made it so they have a chance at happiness on their own, just not with each other, especially him. The reason he was stranded on the island all these years ago, and he can never leave. And the recording ends with old Ollie saying, "You can never go home. You can never go home." But that's why their family always kept apart. Um, but Leanne says they can beat the whole thing. Ted himself on the alien when he missed home. He's going to let some cranky old version of himself keep him from his family. And Leanne, don't do it for the family, do it for himself. And so that convinces Ollie, and so they're trying to go home. However, they're attacked by what appears to be a green energy construct. Pulls out Ollie, and it's someone who knows Ollie quite well. And it is kind of the Green Lantern you think it is, only Parallax. The original Parallax. And that is where the issue ends. I'm really digging this. I gotta say, it is nice. It's nice, a little nostalgia to see Parallax 1.0 again. You don't often see him much. I think largely because DC just wants everyone to forget that, Hal tried to, destroy reality. Well, first restart, then just destroy. But yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.